Lulu was released in 1923. It's an Italian film. This is a stop motion film by Segundo de Chomon. I hope I'm saying that correctly. He is known for stop motion animation. I did some research for him, and it turns out that he actually did some work with Path I hope that's correct. Productions, because his wife worked with Path Productions. She appeared in some of their uh, work and everything with the studios. At least that's what it sounded like. And so he worked with them for a number of years, and he also worked with Ferdinand Zecca and everything. So in the early years at the turn of the century, he was at the same time that Georges Méliès was skyrocketing. And because one thing that I noticed before I talk about Lulu is that there are a lot of people that are talking about how Segundo ripped off of uh, Georges Méliès. Well, one thing you have to understand is there were people that were especially when Trip to the Moon came out, there were people that were downright stealing that. I mean, Thomas Edison stole that. And, Georges Méliès even said, he himself said in an interview that that was not his favorite movie. He said that he made better movies and in his opinion. And it's funny that a lot of creators will tell fans that as much as you love that, I don't. It becomes iconic, but that's not my favorite thing. And like yes, Segundo did shot for shot a trip to the moon. I'm fully aware of that. But you know what? America has a trip to the moon silent film, and there are slight tweaks to it, but it's the same exact story. So come on now. I mean, it's a Jules Verne story. Let's let's cut some slack here. Um, and but this is the early years of silent film. The special effects, camera trickery, and all of that. So the idea that you're just sitting there waiting to say, "Oh my gosh, he stole," is ridiculous. I mean, and especially with a Jules Verne story, people were drunk on Jules Verne back then. Jules Verne and and oh gosh, the guy that wrote Sherlock Holmes. Yeah, everybody loves Sherlock Holmes. So anyway, let's talk about Lulu. I just had to get that off my chest. With Lulu, the story of Lulu, I love this. I love this silent film. I mean, this is like 8 minutes long, and there's so much going on in an 8 minute short film. So you see this monkey, this little chimpanzee, and he is magic. He has a magic wand, and you see him make himself some dinner, and then he decides that he's going to go to bed. Well, there is like a little crook outside his door, and he's waiting for him to go to bed. So then he's going to break into his little into this chimpanzee's little apartment. And of course, chaos ensues. I'm not going to give away the ending, but now the characters in this are are just so well made. I love these characters. The chimpanzee, the crook, he he just looks mean. And of course the cop that you see later on. And the set, I mean, the set was very well constructed. He even has a little piano. And, and it's just very charming. Very, very charming. And so now while I was looking for information on this, I was trying to find a review from back in the 20s, and I ended up finding more recent reviews, and that's kind of why I went on an earlier tangent. But Segundo, when he was working on his films and everything, he basically retired in 1912. This is considered his last film. And it also is different from his other work entirely. So, I found that very interesting. I'm not sure why he would steer away from, you know, especially, I mean, this is like 10 years later, 10, 11 years later, and he died in 1929. So, I'm wondering, I'm curious, what would make him decide to come back and do this? If you have any information, I would love to hear from you. If you have any information at all. So, anyway, this is Lulu. The sets are absolutely adorable. The characters that were constructed, just uh, they're adorable. They're charming. The storyline is just it's very it's like I said, there's a lot going on, but you don't the story doesn't get lost. Let's just say that. And as for Segundo, and I'm sorry if I'm saying his name incorrectly. I really do apologize. I feel so bad when I say names incorrectly. As for him, you have to understand that this was the early years of film. There were a lot of people that were doing the camera trickery and that sort of thing. And yeah, there was competition. I'm not trying to give him a pass on this because we had us Americans had Thomas Edison, and so we're fully aware of yeah. Um and everything. So, but you also have to consider that he did have original work because again, Thomas Edison did have original work, and when he did do original work, it was good. So, and this is, I consider it an original because a lot of the places where I looked said that it was different from all of his other stuff that he did. 10 years after his official retirement. So, but anyway, this was Lulu. It was released in 1923.